Hello everyone, Robert Rambles here, and welcome back to World of Warcraft Classic Era Hardcore and our Troll Mage. Today we have something really special to talk about. I missed the news yesterday and it's been a couple of days for you guys at this point, but Blizzard announced WoW Classic Hardcore and next season. So yeah, what we've speculated on for a long time now, the fact that Blizzard is going to have official hardcore servers is going to be a thing. It's going to be a thing sometime late this summer, it looks like. And there's a little bit more to the announcement than just official hardcore servers, but there's not a lot of details, so this will be my first time reading the actual full news post here. Looking over at WoWhead, let's just have a look. WoW Classic Hardcore and next season announced. The WoW Classic Hardcore growth that has taken place for over a year now has reached a boiling point. Oh yeah, the hardcore growth and the vanilla era growth that Blizzard had nothing to do with, except they did Season of Mastery, which to me was more like trying to shoot vanilla era in the foot than anything else. A fully community-based game mode has exploded on the Classic Era scene, breathing new life into Classic Era realms. Blizzard has just announced that they'll be making official WoW Classic Hardcore realms where players create one-life characters. Here's a quick breakdown of the details surrounding the official hardcore realms. WoW Classic Hardcore will be on PTR in several weeks and launching later this summer. If your one-life character dies, you will be able to continue playing as a ghost, unable to resurrect. Blizzard will be adding a new duel mechanic, where players can choose to duel to the death if they so desire. /Mapgora is the command. Hardcore Fresh is going to be its own thing, separate from the next WoW Classic. This is a mistake. This part is not good. Hardcore Fresh is going to be its own thing separate from the next WoW Classic season. Blizzard will share more details later this year regarding the next season. Everything is really good. Everything was really good until this last bullet point. Hardcore Fresh can't be happening over on point A, with a WoW Classic season happening over on point B. These two things, firstly, I don't know if we need this thing. I don't know if we need a next WoW Classic season, because we had a WoW Classic season called the Season of Mastery. The Season of Mastery happened in November of 2021. The Season of Mastery ended in November of 2022, and then there was nothing. There was no post-mortem, there was no blue post explaining how the season went, what the good takeaways were, what the bad takeaways were. There was no big discussion. The season just died. They let people transfer the characters off. They never talked about it again. And it's been a year and a half since the last season. When you do seasons, the way seasons work, it's really weird. Like, we have these things called seasons, and they follow one another, and they're usually at a regular cadence. You know what I mean? And they know this because they do games like Diablo, which has a really good seasonal model. When you're doing that, though, you go do the season, and then you click a box to be hardcore or not. I don't know if Classic Era needs hardcore fresh official servers and some kind of new season happening at the same time. And I think that keeping those things separate from each other might be a bad idea. But yeah, I mean, I'm really excited about the hardcore servers. I am interested to see what they're going to do with those. I feel like some of the restrictions that we face on Bloodsail Buccaneers, to protect from, people who aren't doing the hardcore challenge, to protect from them kind of muddying the waters, I think a lot of those rules won't be necessary. I think that we will see the ability to use the auction house. I think we will have the ability to group up in the open world. And I just think we're going to see a lot of those arbitrary restrictions go away, which is going to be good. It's going to open up things like, there are many professions that rely on other professions. Enchanting is the biggest one. So when you can't use the auction house and you can't trade with other players, you can't level things fully like enchanting. There's just no way to get the things you need without consulting a blacksmith. So yeah, I think that's going to be really good. Yeah, I mean, for that, we'll have to see the official server rules. I do like that there's just no res. You know, you don't delete the character. The character doesn't have to get deleted. You're just a ghost. And I wonder if at some point they'll let people transfer their characters. Like, let's say you have a dead character, died at level 56. You were super attached to that character because you put like 200 hours of work into it. I wonder if at any point they're going to let you transfer your ghost off to a different server and then res. That would be really cool. That would be like just protection for people so that they know they can do this hardcore challenge on this hardcore server, and that if they die, they're done with the challenge. They can't res on the hardcore server. But if there were a way just to take that, hey, you could take that character and then transfer him wherever that season is going to happen, because apparently the new season of World of Warcraft is not going to happen in the same place that the hardcore is going on. And yeah, sure, in a way that makes sense, but it scares me because of this. How much Classic can a person play? How much Classic Era will you play? You're really into hardcore, let's say. Are you going to be playing hardcore and then also go check out this new season? Because I remember when we did Season of Mastery, that was all that I did. I exclusively played that character until we got it to 60. And then we got it to 60, and I was like, yeah, okay, 60. Being a person who wasn't really interested in farming the vanilla raids at the time, getting to 60 quickly with the Season of Mastery experience buff was not really fun. I felt like I was rushed the whole time. I was rushing through the game because the experience buff basically tells you you are rushing through this game. You have a 50% experience buff, which later got up to 100%, by the way. And it just gave you this go, 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 go fast mentality. And that is not what Classic Era is about. That is not what Classic Era should become. That kind of shit should stay in retail. If you want to make bing, bing, level, 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 woohoo, fresh start seasons, retail would be a perfect place for that. Just like Diablo is a place where people don't mind leveling a new character every season. It's fun for them because the leveling journey is designed to be super fast already. It's already super fast. So do seasonal content there, please. Do seasonal heroes there, please. Don't do seasonal heroes and seasonal content in Classic Era unless you're going to do it right. Unless you're going to add content. Unless you're going to add mechanics that actually make the game fresh, that actually make the game interesting. Unless you're going to do crazy, off-the-wall shit, like open up professions. Let me have 4 professions per run. The season of professions. Let me pick a wild card talent tree. Let me pick a sub talent tree outside of my class. Do something really interesting, and who cares about the raids and if they're balanced? Who cares? Who cares? Everybody who's done those raids, everybody who's seen those raids, they've seen them, they've done them. Nobody cares. What people would love to see is just a bunch of new stuff in the Classic Era. Let's deal with you. Why can't I deal with you? Let's go here. V-bars are turned off. It's a mess today. Oh, that's why we're not working. There we go. You stay put for a second. We'll deal with you after we evocate. But yeah, I'm curious to know what you guys think. But I think trying seasons again in Classic Era, unless they're going to make big sweeping changes, make it super exciting for people to get into things, and unless they're going to focus on the journey, like the new content has to be through the journey, so it has to be system changes. It could be new quest lines in zones we know. It could be world events. New world events in the zones that we know. How cool would it be if there was some kind of world event going on where you're in Classic Era questing, but all of a sudden a portal opens? I don't know. They do this stuff all the time in retail, right? So maybe something like that. But if all they want to do is another Season of Mastery, oh my god, I am not in for that. I am not in for that at all. I'll be playing hardcore on the official Blizzard hardcore server, so I won't even care. I won't even feel like I'm missing out on anything. And so I really hope that if they're spinning this up, because again, they're taking advantage of hype that they aren't responsible for. They didn't do anything to make the game so popular. Like, the game was created so many years ago by human beings, none of whom work for Blizzard anymore. And the current people, Activision, now they get to capitalize off of how popular the community has made the classic era. Oh, we're out of inventory space. I was not ready to play today, but I saw the news and I wanted to get on and talk about it a bit. But yeah, definitely was not ready to be efficient here. Let's drop the milk. We don't need that. Let's start the stack of pendants. Yeah, the seasonal stuff worries me, especially knowing how quickly they're probably trying to spin this up, right? They're trying to go fast, they're trying to get it out there, they're trying to capitalize on all the hype that's going on right now. And so they know they have to do something fast. And now the hardcore servers coming out in the summer is perfect. That is what I'd said before. If I had to think about when they would drop a hardcore server, it would have been mid to late August, and it looks like maybe we'll get it a little bit earlier than that. Maybe we'll even see something in July. Would be nice. We're going to go back and sell. Yeah, we're just going to run back while we have a little chat here. And the official blue post is by Kyvix. As senior game producer, Agron just confirmed on the Hardcore All-Star stream. Oh, that's why it was announced on I was wondering why that news came out on a Saturday night. So they announced it on a stream. We've been working to bring the official Hardcore Classic gameplay to WoW Classic. We've been very energized by the community's enthusiasm for Hardcore, watching along with you and doing a lot of Hardcore play ourselves. I hope so. And I hope they've been doing it here on Bloodsail Buccaneers in the right place. I'm sure they have. We'll let you know much more about it soon. I hope so. So that sounds good. The hardcore stuff I'm super excited about. Season of whatever. I'm not excited because the thing is, like, I'm probably not going to be able to do both anyway. I wonder how many of you guys, let's say the hardcore thing really works and the server rules are great, everybody moves over there, we start doing hardcore there, and let's say the season comes out and it actually seems decent. How many of you guys would be able to play both hardcore and the season? And honestly, like, once you get into hardcore, once you really love hardcore, and if you're a person who's rolling hardcore after hardcore tune, like other forms of classic era, it would have to be significant changes to interest me, because it's the stakes that interest me. It's the excitement, it's the danger, it's the potential reward of getting there, of seeing how far you can get. None of that exists in regular classic era, and we've all seen regular classic era. We've seen a ton of it. We've played a ton of it, most of us. So to give us a season and then to have it be something like Season of Mastery where the only thing that's different is that we level faster, that's kind of like a slap in the face. If they were to do it again, that's what it would be. And I doubt that's what a new season would be. But I just wonder if they're going to do enough.
Hey, how you doing?
We don't have a little bit of cloth. Let's stash some medium leather. I'm not sure when we'll need that in our tailoring journey, whenever that gets going.
Keep it real. Do I have a deal for you? Be good.
Okay, that's a better way to have our inventory here as we set out. What could they do really quickly for seasonal content? What kind of stuff could they put? Let's say, like, you know, they're probably giving themselves more time. So if the hardcore stuff is going to come out in July or August, then we're probably, I guess if they time it, they'll probably time it, what, around the same timing that they did for SOM. So we could expect to see Vanilla Season 2 sometime November, December. If that fits in well with like other content gaps and stuff like that, like if we look at like roadmaps. Dragonflight roadmap. Spring, summer. Summer is 10.1.5. That's gonna have a mega dungeon, world events, content, and system updates. That's actually surprising that they're gonna give us hardcore sometime this summer when, yeah, summer is when 10.1.5 is gonna drop. And then 10.1.7 drops in the fall, so yeah, I would say then winter is gonna be when we get the season of whatever. So retail will get 10.1.7 in the fall, and then sometime probably December, I guess. And then Wrath doesn't have a roadmap, does it? For some reason. You think they would just have a roadmap out. Nothing official. Yeah, I don't see anything for like the Wrath roadmap, which would be really useful to kind of try to forecast. But yeah, I'd say it's probably pretty accurate to say that we'll get the new season, whatever it is, sometime in December or November. Overall, I mean, it's an exciting time for Classic Era. I just hope that they do it right. I hope they do it justice. I hope that they're really looking at the community, interacting with the community, and listening to the community. I hope they're having their own experiences, and I hope that they are understanding why people love Classic Era. Hardcore or not hardcore, I do hope they understand that it's the journey, not the destination, that we're all here for. Because we've reached the destination in the past and again, and it's not why we're here. And if they can acknowledge that, and if they can build a better game around that philosophy, if they took the philosophy of journey, not destination, and that was their guiding principle behind Classic Era World of Warcraft, especially seasonal content, they could make an amazing game that would engage and grow its player base probably for at least the next decade. Because there's inherently already something magical and big and bigger than life about this world that we play in. And if they could just see that and then refine it, build it, grow it, will they do that? I really don't know. But I have to believe that if some of them are playing hardcore, then maybe the eyes are opening a little bit. And they're starting to see, like, no one is necessarily doing this challenge just so they can go farm raids. Nobody doing this wants to go farm raids necessarily. Do some people dream of, you know, doing a hardcore raid at the end of their level? Yeah, sure, that'd be amazing. It'd be terrifying. You'll probably die, but it'd be amazing. But what you're not thinking about is like, man, I can't wait to just go grind the same content every single week forever to get that gear. And vanilla was never about that. Like, you wanted awesome gear, right? Because it was recognizable. People would see you standing in town with it on. But it really wasn't about the grind, you know, the way that the game is about grind today. But yeah, I'd really like to see like big system changes in seasons as well as new content. I would very much like to see some kind of variation in talent trees, or even doing things like opening up race class combos could be a lot of fun for people who've played lots of alts. They locked me out of my ice spells. What a bunch of jerks. I had mana, and then I didn't. Huh. Oh, they leashed anyway. My other worry is, you know, what happens to Bloodsail Buccaneers? What happens to Bloodsail Buccaneers? I mean, a server is not a person or an entity or even an economic entity, so if it becomes empty, that would be sad, but if the same people, if we're all playing together somewhere else, then I guess it really doesn't matter. Oh, we're killing these guys. Oh gosh, that's what happened last time. They keep knocking me out of my ice spells, otherwise I'd have it, no problem. Let's do this. This guy up here needs to go. Okay, he's gone. We need to evocate. And then we'll sheep one. We'll pull the other one away with a blink. I'm kind of waiting on Frost Nova here. He reset. Alright, these guys are a little bit obnoxious, actually. I was hoping just to kill them all and be done with it, but that's not how they want to play it, so let's do it this way. Yeah, it's like if we can't even get in the gate of Northwatch, I guess we're not going to do Northwatch right now, but I think we're in now. Yeah, different race class combinations. I'd love to see that. I really want to just see like crazy openness. It would be really cool to be able to go outside of your class for a couple talent points. Let's say maybe you only have 10 talent points to spend. And you get to pick from like 2 foundational abilities. And of the foundational abilities, one could be a weapon skill. So let's include not only abilities, we're talking about Fireball or Rend or Cleave. We're talking about weapon skills because that's important too. I'm sure the work to create a system that could be that customizable would probably be too much work to cram into this engine. Where you could say, you know, I have a mage. The mage has two-handed sword skill, and they have a bleed. They have rend, and I can take 10 points in the arms tree. So now I'm a battle mage. You know, I'm a warrior. I got mana shield. Freeze you with a frost nova, and yes, the game that would make the game horribly unbalanced. It would if we're comparing people to each other and not just letting people have their own experiences, which is largely what we do in Classic Era. And how do you compensate that in group content? I don't know. You make everything harder, I guess. But there has to be something fun they could do, you know what I mean? And I'm not familiar with Diablo seasons. I never played a lot of Diablo. I played Diablo 3 campaign, really loved it, never really got into the seasonal stuff. So I don't know what kind of affixes or what kind of changes they make in their seasonal content. Maybe I could look into that, and it might give me a better idea of the kinds of stuff that they might do for WoW seasons. Because again, it absolutely cannot be an experience buff. It should not include an experience buff. Nobody wants to go fast in this game. We have retail to go fast. Yeah, we have Wrath of the Lich King with heirlooms even to go fast if we want to go fast. Don't bring the XP buff. This is about the journey, not the destination. Let that guide every design you make. Does this add to the journey or does it take away? And if it's making the journey shorter, then yes, that takes away because that's time. It's the time that you spend in the world with the character that attaches you to it. It's as simple as that. When you're flying through content, you're not getting attached. You're not getting immersed. When you're flying from one side of the zone to the other in 45 seconds, you are not immersed in that world. No matter how beautiful you can admit that it is, no matter how amazing the art and the animations are, you will never be immersed in that world because you are experiencing it in a way that is unnatural, in a way that doesn't mimic any kind of simulated elements. You know, you just flew from one side of the continent to another in 45 seconds. Yeah, like the continents aren't that big, right? So in Classic, the continents are not bigger than they are in Dragonflight, but they feel a million times bigger because you have to walk through most of them, and so you get the sense of this enormous world. And with that sense of a big world, to me always came like possibility. What am I going to see next? What zone am I going into next? What are the enemies going to be like? You know, that's the magic of Classic. And then we get to retail, and I can literally fly from one end of the continent in 45 seconds. I can see every biome in 45 seconds. I can fly over the heads of all the enemies and check them out. Like, I literally don't have to experience the world or its denizens in any way, shape, or form. Whereas in vanilla, we have to. We have to go through it. It's the journey that's that amazing, magical part. And that's what connects us to our characters. It's what roots us in the world. It's what brings us back time and time again. And I want them to see that, and I want them to build a game based on that principle. Whew, and maybe that's rant over. Maybe it's rant over. We're coming up to an actual name guy here. I am gonna put buffs up at some point today. But yeah, obviously I'm really excited / worked up about all this stuff. So it's good to be able to get on here and just word vomit to you guys. Sorry if the thoughts are a little, you know, out of order or not completely coherent. Obviously I'm playing at the same time as I'm having this rant, because playing is kind of how I talk about WoW best. I find that I can talk... We got this guy over here. I find that I can talk much more naturally about the game if I'm also just playing it and not trying to sit here or read from a script or from notes. So I appreciate you guys just letting me shoot my mouth off about all this stuff. I know that in the course of shooting my mouth off about all this stuff, I'm going to say some things that some people are not going to like, and I definitely always appreciate your comments. If something I said is way off base, you don't agree, I would love to hear from you. And I really just want your guys' thoughts. Like, what do you want from a season? Let's give Blizzard some ideas. Let's put some thoughts out there into the collective consciousness of the world. And let's talk about what we want out of any kind of future where there's seasonal... If there's going to be seasonal vanilla content, what do we want? I think what everyone would want first would be consistency. You know, we want... If there's going to be seasons, they can't be 3 years apart. We can't have Season of Mastery in 2021 and then have Season of New in 2024. That isn't going to work. I don't think that's going to work for anybody. So, this is a preserver. We're going to take out this one while those guys are chasing that other plane. Now, technically, if there is a line, we were here first. But it looks like, you know, Captain Fairmont is dead. So we'll hang out up here and we'll see if we can get this guy. We'll check out the staircase occasionally. We'll try to keep that clear so we have a line of retreat, but I am hoping that he'll respawn pretty quickly. Everything going okay down here? Yeah, it looks like it. The rogue was, yeah, he's good. He's bandaging up now. I know one thing I hope they change a little bit for the hardcore server, at least. I really hope they take a look at how named mobs spawn, how all mobs spawn in general, and take a look at like the algorithms for what dictates the respawn rate. But also, they just have to make sure that named guys in hardcore respawn immediately. I don't even know if they, I used to say 30 seconds, but sometimes I've seen how busy an area can be. And I'm gonna go ahead and say that, you know, the named guy, especially ones that spawn in the same spot, the ones that don't path around like these large patrols, they should just instantly pop back up. There should be basically no wait time for a player to get a named guy, especially if we can't group up. Now, that being said, if we can group up, then it doesn't matter. Because yeah, this lady is not respawning. Let's head down a little bit, and we'll just kind of make sure that things are clear below us. Everything down here is probably going to respawn before she does, which is just an unfortunate reality of how the respawns work. Yeah, see, these guys are bad. We got somebody fighting down here. We really can't afford to like come all the way down though and lose our spot in line for as much as that matters. If we really want to get this quest done. If we are really dedicated to getting it done, we're going to camp out up here. We're not going to do the escort, I don't think. Now this guy is going to try his best to tag this when it comes up. It's like, I don't believe he's going to let us have it. What they didn't talk about yet, and I'm sure they will, they haven't talked about how they're going to handle PvP and griefing. We haven't experienced any griefing because I'm a nobody and nobody cares about what I do. But, I guess this is something that people have experienced. I'm scrolling through some of the comments on Wowhead about the announcement. And the good thing is, yeah, here we go. The good thing is, if people at Blizzard have actually been doing hardcore runs like they say they have, you know, how much time do these people actually have to do hardcore runs? They can't work from home anymore, so they got to go back to that 3-hour commute or shove themselves into a house with 7 other people. So they might not have a lot of time for hardcore runs, but if somebody higher up who has that kind of time, you know, someone in the company who has like privileges, if they've been playing, I hope that they're realizing that the respawn rate does need to be looked at. We waited a while for that lady, and then like everything else just respawned. Obviously, like, you know, bad for us, bad for anybody trying to get in here right now. We are gonna get out. That guy, I hope he does not go in there. It's a shit show. And yeah. All right, so one down. Captain Fairmount down. We've got our medals, so we just need Wesson and Smythe. Now, he probably went and cleared one of these, right? If I were him, that's what I would have done. I'm going to go to this far one down here. We've still got some people just really angry with us down below. We ticked off the entire tower. Yeah, they let it go now. Let's come over here and then we'll circle back. I don't see any other players, and the guys over here are all alive, so we have a chance to get in here, although there is a corpse. Alright, so we only got a preserver up here now. We can take her out. We'd have such an amazing view for an awesome thumbnail if these giant parapets weren't in the way. Is that what these are called? Parapets? I don't know where that word came from. And yeah, again, we'll hang out here for a minute and just wait for this guy to respawn. That's really our best bet. I'm super pumped though. I know some of the stuff I say probably sounds negative. I'm a very critical person. And often I don't have a right to be, because I'm not as smart as a lot of people, but I am a pretty critical person, especially when it comes to World of Warcraft, especially when it comes to Blizzard. I've been playing the game since launch. I've seen all their antics. I've seen all the times that they've like said something and well, I would say then they had to take it back, except they never take it back. They say shit that's wrong, they do things that are wrong, and then they just kind of move on and gloss over it. You sometimes feel like you're being gaslit. Like when they say like, a new season. Oh yeah, a new season. You mean like the failed season? Yeah, a new season. Phrase it like that. I wish they would be more transparent and just acknowledge things that were not a win. You know, I don't think Season of Mastery was a win for anybody after like the initial excitement of it. When we realized that like leveling super fast in Classic Era isn't really what we wanted. We wanted a reason to play Classic Era. It turns out the reason most of us found to play Classic Era was hardcore, not seasonal content. I hadn't played any Classic Era since Season of Mastery ended before I started playing hardcore, and now I can't stop playing hardcore. So... And I kind of wonder, you always wonder, maybe you don't, but like I always wonder in situations like this, like what happens to the people who create the add-ons, you know, for hardcore? What happens to the community people on Bloodsail Buccaneers? You know, all the streamers and stuff, they're just going to go where the going is at, you know, like if they open up the official hardcore servers, then that's where we're going to be at, because, you know, that's where things are going to be happening. But yeah, you know, when Blizzard comes in and they do this kind of thing, it affects people. There's also going to be that weird moment of time where, you know, we're going to know the date of the hardcore Realms opening. Eventually we'll know that date. But we're still going to be playing hardcore on Bloodsail Buccaneers. So it's like, let's say that the official opening of the servers is 2 weeks away and you just lost a character. You just wait, right? You don't re-roll on Bloodsail Buccaneers at that point. You'd have to wait. And who wants to wait 2 weeks to play Classic Era? Sounds awful. I hope they put these things out fast. If they're not gonna do like with the hardcore servers, they're not gonna do a lot of like weird changes, right? So I hope when they say summer, man, what's the first day of official summer? Sometime in July, right? I hope they get these out quick. I think they don't want to have a lot of time between announcing it and actually having it happen. Because what could happen to somebody in 2 weeks is like you could fall out of the idea of hardcore and go find a different game to play. So like your character dies on Bloodsail Buccaneers, but you know like, you know, the Blizzard hardcore servers, they're coming out in like a month. I don't want to grind up another character just to have it dead here on this server. But then there's a whole month where, you know, people aren't playing hardcore World of Warcraft anymore on Bloodsail Buccaneers, and that just gives them time to get into other things. There are tons of other amazing video games out there. And people can go find those. So I hope there's just not like a big gap. I do hope that since they announced this now, that they're basically ready to pull the trigger on it. Oh, he frostbit from hitting my shield too. I didn't need that Frost Nova yet. That's unfortunate. Alright, another one down. I wonder if we can line a sighter. Yep. Ooh, she healed. Now, with any luck, he just came from killing this guy. And we'll be able to get in there and just wait for him to respawn. Oh. Oh, apparently we're wearing a loincloth. Oh, that's right. I forgot. We're technically wearing a loincloth. Okay, well, there's a line. There's a line here. Ooh. Okay, I'm not gonna snipe this guy's kill. I could, and I wouldn't feel very bad about it, unfortunately. It's kind of like that thing how like your environment starts to shape you. Well, in an environment where I have to wait an eternity just to kill one fucking guy for a quest, it starts to shape me into a person that doesn't really care about lines. And I'm fine if somebody steals it from me. You know, if I try to tag something and somebody gets in there before me, I'm not going to throw a fit. It's absolutely fine. And that's kind of my thing. Is like, I am not going to get upset if somebody does it to me, and therefore I'm kind of like, I wouldn't mind getting a tag and just getting, like, whoever can tag the fastest. We've got an equal shot at it, but I'll come down here and I'll kill some stuff and maybe he'll come out. But we've spent so much time on this quest that it's one of those things. It's that stupid limitation of not being able to form groups in the open world because we don't know who's a hardcore player and who's not. Yeah, I should be able to group with that guy. We should stand there together. We should kill the name guy. We should move on with our life. That's what should happen in any version of World of Warcraft, hardcore or otherwise. We shouldn't have to make a line when there's only 2 of us. Lines are for opening nights, guys. Lines are for when there's 50 people that need a named guy. 50 people need it. Okay, we are not doing this today. Oh, we are. We are doing this. We're running out of here. I'm not dealing with those guys. We somehow aggroed the healer back there. I went to go finish the one guy off, and then I was going to sheep the healer, and we just got smacked around a little bit too hard. This will give the warrior time to go ahead and kill that guy, and then we'll have to work our way back in, which is absolutely fine. We were just killing guys anyway, and now we have to kill them to get back. Basically the same thing. For some reason, I really don't want my first max level character to be on the Blizzard server. But, you know, depending on the time frame, that might happen. We have time, you know, even if they were to do a release in July. So summer would be July. It wouldn't be any earlier than July. That gives us about 2 months to get this character to, firstly, not get killed. Secondly, level to 60. We can do it in 2 months if we don't die. And that's where the problem comes in. Like, if I get this character killed, I'm going to start another character. However, now I'm thinking, like, am I even going to have time? Am I even going to have time on another character to level it up? Or am I going to get to, like, level 30 or 40 on that character and then have the official hardcore servers open up and have everybody migrate over there? And then I've wasted a bunch of time. But then again, you know, if I'm playing WoW, I'm not wasting my time. That's kind of how I feel. Not everyone has enough free time that they can feel that way. Unfortunately, it becomes the problem. Alright, so for sure that warrior had to have gotten this guy already. Now, that doesn't mean that somebody else isn't up here waiting. If someone else is up here waiting, guys, I have to try and tag the guy. I can't just keep letting other people tag it. You know, we came here and we left. You guys saw it. We put our quarter on the guy. We put, you put your quarter on the arcade machine back in the way to play the next round of Mortal Kombat. Yeah, we put our quarter up, so... This guy's coming down, so maybe he just killed him. That was the same troll warrior that we'd seen before. Let's just see if anybody else is up here. Alright, there we go. We are now technically here, so we're gonna hang out. And just wait, he just killed this guy, so it's probably gonna be about 5. I think they're like static is probably 5 minutes. Most normal mobs usually are in a 5-minute respawn timer. That is so inaccurate. Don't look on the internet about the respawn timing in World... Now, they might mean for named guys. I believe that for named guys, it's 5 minutes. But the fact that most normal mobs are usually on a 5-minute respawn timer is total bullshit. They absolutely are not. Don't trust most of what you Google search. You'll see such wild information like most mobs are usually on a 15-minute respawn timer. A 15-minute respawn timer? There would never be anything to fight. Are you out of your mind? This may be different depending on the area and mob type. Yeah, I would say it's usually very different than 15 minutes. So his body's gone. He could be coming up soon. Yes, I still don't have runes of teleportation. Have to grab those at some point. Alright, let's check below and maybe we'll clear a little bit out down here if everybody's back up. We just have the one. Now again, I kind of worry, if we see anybody else come in, we're just going to run back up top. It's fun to confuse casters in this game because it turns out it's pretty easy to confuse them. Well, I mean, maybe this guy is on the 15-minute timer. Who knows? It does seem like it's been a little bit longer than 5 minutes, but you know, your sense of time kind of attenuates. The longer you think you're waiting, it kind of stretches itself out. Could be what's happening here. We got a preserver back up. That's a good sign. Hoping that means any minute now we'll see Cannoneer Smith. Speak of the devil. Hey, I mean, there we go. We actually completed the Guns of Northwatch quest. Huh. I feel like that's an okay way to get out of there. Especially since we are all done. Now we can head back and get this one turned in. It took a while. It was, you know, that was its own little adventure. We had to wait for so long for the name guys. Again, stuff that I hope gets addressed with official hardcore. Just let us group in the open world. Let us group for named guys. I don't know if it can be some kind of restriction. Some people will say, well, if you can group up in the open world, that makes it a lot easier. Yeah, sure, but people run duos and trios. All this does is it allows for you to play with other players without having to super coordinate when 2 or 3 people can get on and play together, because when you're an adult, it's hard. It's hard to get your friend together, friends, plural, if you're doing a 3-man, to play at the same time for any significant amount of hours a week. That's why it's an MMORPG, because there's lots of other people in the world that we can play with, right? So just let us group up. Some people will group, some people won't. But especially for named guys, it's essential just to cut out a needless point of friction. It's not a fun point of friction. It doesn't make the game more immersive or realistic or believable or anything. So either put those named guys on a 10-second respawn timer, or just remove the group restriction from hardcore. They couldn't enforce it anyway, you know what I mean? We're gonna have to let us group up. We're not gonna be using an add-on to track that kind of stuff. And there's not a way for them to disable grouping and still let us do dungeons, I don't think. So grouping is gonna be in the game. Yeah, I just really want to hear more. I wish that when they announced this, that they had some information to share. I know it's like the hype cycle. They don't want to show all their cards. They want to get you excited by popping a surprise announcement into somebody's big stream. And then they want to string you out over the next couple weeks so they get the clicks on their website and stuff. And then eventually, you know, they'll tell us a little bit more info in a more orderly way. And then we'll probably learn stuff about the server restrictions and rules and stuff like that.
Greetings. Be careful.
And hey, that's nice. That's level 21.
What's up?
Okay, let's sell the rifle. I don't think we have anything else we need to hang on to. We're going to hang on to some of these. Somebody pointed out we might need these for a crafting recipe for tailoring, so I'm going to hang on to these. We'll shove them in the bank. And yeah, guys, I am going to take a break here at this point. Thank you for being here, especially if you are still here through all that ranting. I really do appreciate you. And yeah, it was good to get on here and talk about things. I do want to know what you guys think. I'm very excited for the future of World of Warcraft. Probably more excited for the future. You know, I check the news for Classic every day, right? Every day I go on Wowhead, I look for Classic news. There's never any Classic news because Classic is Classic, and then I move on with my day. So it's good to see that Blizzard is actually, like, you know, putting some time and thought and resources into Classic. We'll see where it goes. Let me know what you think. And until next time, take care of yourselves out there in the real world and take care of each other. And we'll see you back here again sometime very soon. Bye for now.